Good morning. I hope you're doing great this morning. I'm a little bit early for those of you who like to catch me live. I'm just about 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes early because I got a busy day today. It's already been busy and it ain't gonna get no better. It don't look like. But the nurse is supposed to come between 8 and 8:15, so I thought I better do it before. If I put it off, then it's 9. I gotta leave at 10. So in my little analytical mind, it fit better here. So I apologize to those who like to watch it early. I know one of my friends gets his coffee and he's there at 8, and so he's gonna miss the whole thing. I'm so sorry, Chris. Anyway, but here we are. Here we are. So, but if you have your notifications on, then you'll know when I go live. So you'll have, even if I go early or a little bit late, because I shoot for 8 o'clock, but I don't always make 8 o'clock, right? So, but here we are, just a little before 8. We're gonna get into it. So I read a bunch of stuff this morning. I started in Isaiah, and I read some really cool things. I was in the same chapter because that's where my Bible was open from yesterday's devotions, honestly. Started the same chapter, Isaiah 26, and it talks about God being the God of peace. It talks about he prepares peace for us, for his people. And I was like, I really like that. So I did a lot of thinking about that, because there's peace is mentioned several times in Isaiah 26. But somehow, because of my little Google mind, and opened this door and went through that one and opened this one and opened that one, and I ended up in Hebrews. Totally unrelated to Isaiah, but this stood out to me this morning. Okay, let me just read it real quick. In Hebrews 13:20, it says this: Now may the God of peace, he's the God of peace. He's not just the distributor of peace. He's not just the holder of peace. He's the God of peace. That means he's got it. He's got it all. He's in total control, etc. Right? Now may the God of peace, who brought up our Lord Jesus Christ from the dead, that great shepherd of the sheep, speaking of Jesus being our shepherd, right, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, make you complete in every good work to do his will, working in you what is well pleasing in his sight, through Christ, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen. So I read that, and I read it several times, and I read several other verses, and I started thinking about this. He's the God of peace. I thought of it, two phrases stood out: the God of peace and the great shepherd. The great shepherd of my soul. He watches over my soul. Now, this morning I was watching my neighbor. I sat out on my patio, drank my coffee this morning. It was so nice out there. And I watched my neighbor take her dogs for a walk. And I thought, they were on a leash, of course, like a good pet owner, dog mom should have them on one. And they didn't even realize the danger that was around them. They had no fear of the cars. They didn't even know to be afraid of the cars. And yet she guided them to get their business done, for their walk, for their exercise, and then she guided them back gently, right? And I thought, God watches over us like that. Now, we ain't dogs, okay? Don't go too far with that, right? But he watches over us like that. We don't even realize the things that are dangerous to our souls around us sometimes. But he holds us, not on a leash to restrict us and to imprison us and things like that. But that leash was a safety line for those dogs. She wasn't going to let them get out in that traffic. She wasn't going to let them get run over by a negligent driver, or even a driver that didn't see them coming or something, right? And they don't even realize they were just going to potty, right? And just going for a walk, without even realizing how she was watching over them to keep them and to protect them. And they just think, oh, mom's going for a run, let's go, right? They didn't even realize the level of care she was giving them, right? And sometimes we don't realize the level of care our shepherd has for us. And here's the cool thing I started thinking about. I actually read a devotion this morning, and she said something in it about how it's okay to experience pain and suffering at the same, or pain, suffering, and joy all at the same time. Life can be good and have some bad things all at the same time. And here's what I thought about the shepherd. Our shepherd, God, the God of peace, our shepherd doesn't just say, I'm going to take care of you in the good times. He doesn't say, I'm going to just be with you when it's all good. He's with us in the good stuff and the bad stuff. He doesn't say, okay, I'm exempt from taking care of you when things go south, or say things go sour in your life. He's got us. It doesn't matter if we're experiencing pain one second and joy the next, if we're experiencing total peace one second and total turmoil the next. He's got us. And even so, that made me think too about the Psalm 23, because it starts out with the Lord, you know it, right, is my shepherd. I don't lack anything. I'm not going to ever lack a shepherd because he's my shepherd. He guards my soul. And even in this psalm, he says, listen to verse 2. He says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. How sweet, right? But he leads me to a place where I can rest. He leads me beside still waters, a place where I can be refreshed. He restores my soul. These are all good things. But then in verse 4, he says, yeah, if I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil because you're with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So even in this little psalm that many of us have probably quoted or at least been familiar with all of our lives, there's the good, the bad, the sweet and the sour, the hardship and the joy, all rolled into those 6 verses. And the God of peace watches over us and he gives us peace all the time. Is always available. And even in the ups and downs of our lives or the ups and downs of our days, he never takes an exemption card and goes, I'm out of this one. This one's too confusing. This one's too difficult. You've made this too complicated. You've made this too complex. I don't get you anymore. I'm out of here. No, he never takes that exemption card. He remains a shepherd. Now it's up to us to stay under his protection, to accept his peace and to let it reign, to let him be that God of peace here in our souls, and let him watch over our souls. See, he's watching over our souls whether we let him or not. We can either enjoy the protection or fight it all the way. But he's there to protect us, to protect our mind, our will, and our emotions. That part of us that's not going to die. That part of us that's going to experience life forever with him. He's watching over that part so that we don't stumble, so that we don't run out in front of a vehicle and get run over like the lady watches over her dog. And yet his care is so much fuller than that. His care is so much deeper than that. His watching is so much deeper than that. He's got us. And he doesn't, it's not just when you come up to the mountaintops, I'll be with you when everything's going good and when when it's great. But when you go in the valley, you're on your own. I'm not going down in the valley. No, he's got us. No matter I've said this before, not to brag, but I can go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the valley in just 2 seconds. Really, I'm fast. But that's okay because I can rebound and be back on the mountaintop. Just things come at us all day long. And our emotions can just be like this curve, right? It's up and it's down. We have good things that happen. Somebody sends some money or I get paid from a bill. Now I'm behind at work. Up and down. The day is made up of ups and downs, and God doesn't exclude any of them. He says, I'm still the God of peace. I'm still the shepherd of your soul. I'm watching over you. He's watching over us in all of that. He's walking through that with all of us, right? Through everything we face in a day, through everything we face in a week, a month, a year, a lifetime. Nothing is hidden from his sight. He's watching over us with care and concern and intervenes as needed, and especially when we call on him, that's when he goes, oh yeah, I'm right here. I never left you. And sometimes we forget to call on him until it gets too big for us to handle. What if we started calling on him when something first starts? What if we started calling on him before something even starts? What if we just made it a habit of calling on him like in the morning and going, okay, God, I don't know what's coming today, but you do. Can you just wrap me in your grace today so that no matter what I face, I'll look at you instead of it? Can you just wrap me with your peace? I'm going to let your peace reign today, whether I'm on the top of the mountain or the bottom of the valley. What if we just did that in the morning and then we just walked in his peace all day, no matter what came at us, whether we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death or laying in the green pastures. He's still with us. He didn't say he makes me lie down in green pastures, he leads me beside still waters, he restores my soul. But when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he's out of there. No, he's with us. He's not afraid of the things we're afraid of. He's not embarrassed by the things. See, we don't admit that we're going through things sometimes because we don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to feel less than in front of other people. But you know what? We're all going through something. It can be some good and some bad all at the same time. There's joy and pain sometimes in the same experience, in the same moment, in the same day, in the same hour, minute, second, whatever, millisecond, right? And he's got us. He's still the God of peace. And he's not going to leave us, no matter how difficult it gets, how complex it gets, how crazy we get. He's still got our soul just wrapped and protected by his peace. Will you just let him today? Can we just let it rain? Can we just relax there and wrapped in his peace and go, okay, God, I know I got today because you've got me today, right? And then we just peace out. Peace out, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.